Peace. What's good, fam? It's your brother Cool. So I want to break down. Today I want to break down how do you operate. You know what I'm saying? How do you operate after you've declared who you are, right, to the world? How do you operate economically? Because a lot of people believe that there's no other way to function in the public without a social security number. And that is not the case. Brothers and sisters, that is not the case. So, there's a lot of things that, like I said, information's been held from us, so we don't really see the entire picture of what's being portrayed. But this is why they say, when you study, you can show yourself approved. Because then you'll understand exactly what applies to you as an individual in order to operate in commerce, right? So, and I will just say, don't swing too hard, because sometimes the tassel may go in your eye. Just may go in your eye. So, that being said, one thing I want people to realize, you step outside the game to go back in to operate properly. The principle of the game hasn't changed, meaning when you declare your nationality and you put it on a public record, and then you go get a state ID or a license or whatever you need to get for you to function, right? Because this is about how can you function, not about what's right or wrong. Because what's right or wrong is as long as you can function. If you can function while you're getting your shit together, then that's right. That's smart and that's strategic and that's logical. All right? You can't just go from A to Z. You got to go through the process. So once you declare yourself who you are and then you get that name updated on the state ID, the principle of the game doesn't change. Because the name, even though the title is in your free national name, it's still in all caps on the state ID, meaning that's an entity. Still not you, because it still has an expiration date on it. Don't forget about the principles of the game. This is why I say the state ID is a signification of your public trust. But you can only be a party to the Constitution by coming under the names of your ancestors that came before you. That's the only way to be a party to the Constitution. You have to be in honor. No way around it, because that is the number one rule that every human being or man on this planet is obligated to oblige by. Because if you don't do that one thing, the rest of your life will be hell. Okay? And that is honor your ancestors. If you can't do that one simple thing, don't even talk about anything else after that. Don't talk about owning anything, doing this, doing that, being sovereign this, being sovereign that. Don't even talk about that if you're not in honor. If you're still talking about you black African American and you're still trying to do business in Smith, Jones, and Johnson names, you are not being in honor. That's being hypocritical. And then you want to try to assume the rights of people within their sovereign capacity in their, while they're in honor, but then you want to try to get the same type of right, and you're in dishonor, because family names are family names. The European family name you walk with that doesn't belong to you, that ties you to a landmass that you're not from, is the name of the family that is enslaved, that is enslaving you right now. Right now. And everything you do under that family name, you making product for them. That family gets to reap all the benefits as while you do all the work. And get left with nothing to leave behind for your own children, your own posterity. All right? Operating through the Social Security is not mandatory. There's different ways. Even if you're working a 9 to 5, you can still work as yourself. This is why I talk about nationality and trust, because they go hand in hand. You're talking about your spiritual divine side of yourself and how you're going to operate as yourself. Nationality and trust. Spiritual, you know what I'm saying? Commercial, because we still got to do commerce. We want to build our own communities, our own tribal estates. We need finance to do that. Okay? So let's not be unrealistic here. People still need to open up bank accounts. People still need to, like I said, get jobs. So how do you get a job if you're not operating with Social Security? That's the whole purpose of having a trust. When you have a trust in place, it has something called a tax identification number. So you see, a lot of people have been trained, or I should say all employees who operate within the states have been trained to naturally ask for a Social Security number first. What you need to comprehend is that a Social Security number is a tax identification number. Okay? So now, there's different types of tax identification numbers. You have the Social Security number, which is one form. You have an EIN, which is an employer identification number, which is another form. You have another number for people who come here from different countries. They get a certain type of tax identification number assigned to them. What I'm trying to say is, there's more than one way to operate. So naturally, for me, in any conversation, with the understanding, see, because you could sit there and just listen to everything I say and go and regurgitate it, but if you don't have no understanding from here and from here on it, you will no power. This is why I can talk freely, because if you are just regurgitating what I'm saying and you're just gonna go do what I do T for T without any understanding, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. Because ignorance of the law is no excuse. So you can't be ignorant. You gotta be very competent, understand what you're doing when you're doing what I'm talking about doing. This ain't no light thing I'm talking about. This ain't no light thing. You gotta know what you're doing. And so in presentation, no, I don't have a Social Security number. I have a tax identification number, and then you know what I present to them? Something called the W-8 Ben form, which is a certificate of foreign status of beneficial owner. Who's holding the foreign status? I, because I am foreign to the United States. Not America, I'm foreign to the United States Corporation. According to taxes, USC Title 26. Booyah. All right? You got to know. So, operating through that, and with the W-8 Ben form, right, I have my estate number, which is a foreign estate created outside the United States for tax purposes, right? And now, with that EIN number, I also have my treaty. Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1786. I'm using that to claim tax treaty benefits. So now, not only did I give them a tax identification number, and I've had 2 part-time jobs. Got hired and got paid without a Social Security card. Got paid through my estate, through my trust. All right? It's doable. So not only did I take care of the Social Security issue, but I also don't have to deal with the taxes. Operating through my treaty. See, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship isn't just some document there to be read and be talked about. Oh, well, we have a Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Okay, and how can I use it to get me where I need to be? It's not enough to just be awake. How can I get to, I want more than just nationality. How can I get to where I need to get to? So these are the missing keys that people are not expressing or sharing. Well, you know? So understanding that when you put your national title on the state ID, it's still in all caps, meaning it's still not you. It's an entity. Only difference is you have full copyrights to that title. Therefore, whatever that entity produces, you now own. And now it is now attached as well to the public trust, which is the constitution of the particular state you're in. So now you put yourself back into constitutional for the government just by being back in honor, by coming in the name of your ancestors that came before you. That simple. Once that's reflected on the state ID, now you have rights to that public trust, which was guaranteed to we the people. Now that you being a part of we the people again, being a natural part of society, you know what I'm saying, having natural principles and character about yourself, having your trust in place. So when you go get hired, you don't have a social security number. You have a tax identification number. You're still operating through the IRS, through these commerce type things, while we're getting our private situated. But we're still operating and don't have to worry about taxes and don't have to worry about any of these foreign encumbrances slowing us down. So that is how you could operate. It's not difficult to get a job without a social. Like I said, I've done it twice. It's really simple. You just got to know what you need to bring in. And what that being a WA band form. You understand what I'm saying? So also understanding now that since that entity on the state ID is in all caps, you have ownership rights to the title, right? Now, like I said, that's a public trust because it's an entity, right? It's a trust. It's a public trust. So you being in your proper person puts you back in constitutional fold. However, I'm just going to say it like this. If you confuse it as it being you, you're going to end up putting yourself in the same box because it's not you. Once again, it's not a natural person. It's an entity. It's a public trust that correlates to the constitution of that state republic which you are domiciled in as a natural person. Now, being a natural person, right, and distinguished from that entity on the state ID, right, in your free national name, that entity is a United States citizen. That entity is a United States citizen because it's attached to the United States trust, branched off into various state republics. I'm talking about the United States of America, not U.S. So that entity is a U.S. citizen because once again, the entity is in all caps. It's not you. It's not a natural person. All right? Only a natural person can be an American national. Only a natural person can be an American national. An entity cannot be an American national. Either two types of entities. Either you have a 14th Amendment entity or you have a free person. My trust is a free person. You understand what I'm saying? So my trust would be considered a free person in law. And me being a natural person, being competent in mind, in sound mind, in control of a free person, I can operate. You know what I'm saying? So on my private side, I have my free person. And on my public side, I have my public person, which, yes, is a 14th Amendment citizen. No way around it. It's a trust. It's an entity. It's an ens legis. All right? It's a 14th Amendment citizen. Because even if I was to get into issues in suit, I wouldn't be coming in suit as or making my special appearance as Kumari Su'el on the state ID. I'll be making my appearance as Kumari Su'el, natural person and propria persona sui juris. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. I'll be coming in my private capacity, not my public capacity. So you got to know which hats you need to wear. So first of all, you need to know where you're at all times in order to know which hats you need to be wearing. So you need to be aware of your environment. The only way to be aware of your environment is to know your environment. Because if you know your environment, meaning your temple, then you'll know everything outside of it that isn't it or that doesn't reflect it. You'll know. Quick. So it's not being fearful operating in the public. Because once you operate or come underneath the name of your ancestors, you are under that not only metaphysical and spiritual protection, but now you're also under, if you are competent enough to realize them, you are under commercial, lawful protections that have been set in stone by our ancestors who came before us. This ain't nothing new I'm talking about. We've been practicing trust for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Trust alone is based off the Trinity principle. The pyramid. 3 points. Grantor, trustee, beneficiary. Mother, father, child. Simple. For me, I understand that because I put the time in to comprehend it. Right? I literally have to form my mind to the mind of a child so I can break it down simple. But it's easy to operate. So, thank you again for your time. All right, keep on studying. If you need to reach out to me, you can shoot me an email at suneluniversity@gmail.com. That's SUUNEL @gmail.com. It's your brother Cool. Peace. Islam.